Well, it is just a beautiful day here in the Yoop, and it's about noon on day, actually I have no idea what day it is, but it's getting kind of long. Anyway, as you saw in the last video, I hunted at Troy's last night, and the bears that were at that bait did not come back, and which was a surprise to me. I went in there with a lot of optimism. There had been a pretty decent bear that was in there just before dark for a couple of days, and so I felt pretty good about that. So all three baits were hit last night. I just got done running the baits and checking the cards, and I've got a cell cam on Troy's bait, but then the other two baits I don't have cell service, so I don't have cell cams on them, and I got to go in there and check them every day, which is fine because I like to make sure there's plenty of bait in there. When I'm away from home, it's like I'm hunting pretty aggressively. Like I'm actually, I'm baiting every day, checking the cards every day, and just try to make a decision what's the best possible place to hunt that evening every night right now. That's the point I'm at in this endeavor. So what happened at Troy's bait last night was that the wind really never laid down, and I feel like that had something to do with it. But when I checked the cell camera this morning, I got up and started looking at the pictures, and there was yet another new bear that was in there last night, like 2 o'clock in the morning. He was there for about an hour. He's a big one, really good one. That's a bear that I haven't seen before. So could that bear come back tonight before dark? Yeah, that's a fairly good possibility. So that's one good option. So the other two baits, bait number one, had a bear there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was a small bear that was there for a while, and then a bigger bear came in after dark, and then the small bear came back in the wee hours of the morning. That bear, there's a high percentage chance that that bear is going to be at that bait before dark tonight, but he's just a yearling, and I don't think I'm ready to shoot a 100-pound or 120-pound bear yet in this hunt, even though I feel like I'm running out of time. So that's an option that I could, at any time, I could jump in there, because I already got a stand, everything's in there. The tree's ready to just climb in and hunt. So bait number two is the one that I thought really seriously about hunting last night. I had a bear on that bait just at last light, and honestly don't know if I would have been able to get a shot at that bear or not. It was just when it was almost too dark. Like right at the end of legal shooting light is when that bear came in, and I gotta go in there and move this camera, because the bear's spending all its time just to the right side of the bait, and all I'm getting is its head when it pokes its head into the picture. So I gotta get that camera moved in there. But it looked like a really nice bear, and it was there just for a little while and ate very little. When I went in there, I could tell that the bait was not hardly hit at all, as opposed to the bait at the number one where that little bear was in, and then the sow came back. That was pretty blown up. I'm gonna go hunt, and I feel like my odds of getting a good bear at Troy's is better than any of the other baits right now. And I think if I just wanted to go shoot a bear, a small bear, I think that yearling at bait number one is very killable. I talked to Mike a little bit last night after I got back, Mike is the owner of the Berglund Outfitters, and he's also the owner of the motel that I'm staying at. I had brought up the issue that I felt like there's a lot of bear hunters around here, and that I feel like I have other baits very close to my baits, and I'm certain that's true with 2 of them, and the third one I don't know, but I suspect that there are other baits that are within a mile or so of it. And he said that it's gotten a lot worse in the last years. He said 10 years ago you could drive back on most of these forest roads anytime, anywhere, and then the Forest Service just started gating them off. And there's a lot of gates on a lot of roads up and down these areas where typically, you know, in most places you'd be able to just go back in there and bait, but unfortunately they're gated off. And he said what that's done is it has pushed everybody out to the roads, and people are a lot more crowded than they used to be because they can't access some of these areas that are back off the main forest roads. Well, it's warm and sunny. In fact, it's just downright hot. It's got to be close to 80 degrees, it feels like. But I'm in here for the long haul. I figure I might as well be sitting here as sitting in a motel room. Got to be sitting somewhere. The wind may be a little better tonight. At least it's not as windy. It's a light wind, a little steadier, not as swirly. A little bit more east to it, so I like it. I like it a lot better. We've got 4 bears on this bait in the last few days, and the biggest one just showed up during the night last night. So my hope is that he comes back before dark tonight. I don't know if he just found this bait or if he's been here before. If he just found it, it's pretty likely that he'll be back tonight. The other issue is somebody else has got a bait just a few hundred yards from here. It's hot, and I hope that I'll be able to pull my camouflage on, which is sprayed down with scent killer, so that'll contain my scent a little better, hopefully fend off the mosquitoes a little better, but it's probably going to be at least a couple hours before I'm ready to pull that jacket on. Alright, everybody, on the count of 3, for good luck, hit the like button on 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, everybody hit the like button all at once like that. Might just work. It's a beautiful day to be in the woods. Those are the kind of days when you see the most bears, so maybe tonight's the night. Here we go. It's 5:30, so I've been here 2.5 hours. And you can just forget all those nice things I said about the wind. It has literally come from every point of the compass in the last couple hours. It's finally starting to die down a little bit, it feels like. It's a long haul sitting here this many hours, but it's a really pleasant spot and a comfortable chair, and I'm in the woods. Can't complain. Now this coming on here, telling you I didn't see anything, it's going to be a bad habit, and it sure ain't much fun, but it happened again. Man, it calmed down really nice that last hour. It just felt right, everything seemed good, and but it just didn't happen. So I'm running out of time here. I got a couple more days, and then Mike has got more hunters coming in, so the motel's going to fill up, and I'm running out of clean underwear, so I've probably got 1 or 2 more nights, and then we're going to have to bag this thing. But anyway, we'll run the cameras again in the morning, check the baits, and see what we got. I'm going to stay at least one more, I'm sure. I have walked past this pond 24 times going back into Troy's bait, and every single time I think there's been wood ducks on it. Well, it always sucks to have to pull everything out of a place where you really had high hopes and expectations. But this bait just died, and I don't really fully understand what's going on here, honestly. And we've had multiple bears that have come in here once or twice and then just never come back. It's got good bait. I mean, there's just really no reason for it that I can understand. I know that there's another bait that's pretty close over here, but for some reason this just didn't pan out. Man, I went through a lot of bait here considering the fact that I never saw a bear when I was hunting. But we are pulling out of this one, and we're going to check two more. The other two, I'm going to check the cards on them and then make a decision if I'm just going to go home or if I'm going to keep hunting. And if I do go home, I'll definitely come back. There's, it took me 6 years to draw this tag. I'm not going to give up that easy. But man, this is getting long, and I've got a lot to do at home. So let's go check the other two. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's been busted wide open, and there's a lot more bait been eaten. Let's have a look. Had that little bear in here. He was at noon. That little bugger was here 3 o'clock. I got a fisher in here. Man, that fisher's in here a lot. That little bear was in there at 1 o'clock in the morning. This morning again. Geez, I got dozens of pictures of that fisher. 3 o'clock in the morning. That little bugger is basically living here. 6 o'clock this morning. 7 o'clock this morning, 7:30. Bear at 8 o'clock this morning. It's just that little guy. Oh, there's 2 of them. Oh my gosh, I bumped him. 8. I know 3. So they were in here 14 minutes ago. I don't know. So I got 2 yearlings in here. basically living right here. They're probably really close right now. That bigger bear hasn't been back, and when it came back it didn't hardly eat anything, so all right, we're done here. I'm gonna pull it. Alright, my third and final bait. This bait is going to determine if I have a place to hunt tonight or if I go home. Well, it's been worked pretty hard. There's definitely a lot of bait been eaten up and gone. Well, let's look at the camera and see what we got. All right. Boy, I got a stuffed up head again this morning. Some kind of mold or something in this country that ever so often really gets to me. Ooh, 517. Oh, is that a big one? No, it's a small one. I think this camera's set on Central Time too, so that's actually 6:23 in that picture right there. Boy, it sure looks bigger in that picture. Got fishers on every one of these baits. Alright, that's midnight. That's a bigger one. Back at 4 o'clock. So a little bit bigger bear was in here during the night. So there's that little bear in there. So that little guy was in here with plenty of shooting light left last night, but I don't have any daylight pictures of either of the two bigger bears in here. Zero. And they're coming consistently, but I just don't have any pictures of them in the daylight, so I guess that settles it. I'm going to pull my stand out of here and head home, and I might come back in a couple of weeks. I would have had to leave tomorrow anyway because Mike has people coming in for the third season hunt, and his motel would have been full. So I would have had to leave tomorrow anyway, so by leaving now I'm just leaving a day early. But I'm going to come back. You know, the season goes till the end of October, and there's other options. And besides, actually even besides bait, I could hire somebody to run dogs for me or something and get a bear that way. I've done that before. It's not my favorite way to do it, but it works, and it is a different kind of hunting than bait hunting. Very different. So I guess this is the end of this vlog, the end of this trip. So I will come back. I'm 90% sure. And thanks for joining me throughout this saga that it's been. And we'll see you on the next video.